Okay, good day, good morning, and good evening from wherever you are joining our session today on the Move to Cloud webinar series. Today we're going to talk about the SAP Business Data Cloud. We will delve into the significance and functionalities of the SAP Business Data Cloud. And with that, we have Klaus-Peter Sauer at our call who will host this session. So Klaus-Peter, the stage is all yours.
Okay, thank you, Krenar. Also, warm welcome from my side. So, as said, my name is Klaus-Peter Sauer. I work on the product management team for Business Data Cloud as well as DataSphere. Some of you might already know me from the various channels I'm using. And so today's topic is about Business Data Cloud and having a closer look what it is all about, why we're doing this, what are these data products, these inside apps, might be new terms, new terminology for you. And also at the end, have a brief look at what SAP Databricks offers and what's in there for BW and BW customers, right? Because that's also an important piece as part of Business Data Cloud. So let's first start why we are doing this new setup here and new solution with Business Data Cloud. And the core reason is, of course, the changing requirements over time, right? The needs you as partners or customers have for in the whole data and analytics area. And what we often hear there is, of course, having easy access to SAP data. Right, so some customers have a hard time extracting data out of SAP systems, and it's not just ERP or S/4HANA, it's also our cloud-based solutions like Ariba, SuccessFactors, and the likes, right? So getting that data, not only the data itself, but also the semantics, its context, and prepare that either for analytics use cases, for AI, or whatever the use case might be there. So that's one point, as I mentioned, having it across the different lines of business and providing a unified view across it, right? So having, instead of just the extracted tables or files, a data model available, which is harmonized, which works together, which can then provide a great foundation for AI use cases, right? And that whole scenario on bringing the data out and create insights and new value, right? That should be as quick as possible, right? So faster time to insights, shortening project cycles, right, to get to results. That's important, and also help simplify the landscape, because over the past 10, 15 years, the opposite was mainly true, right? Specifically for analytics use cases, the number of sources where you would get data from grew, sometimes exponentially grew, right? Like if we're talking 30 years ago, there was like an ERP system and maybe a CRM system and maybe a handful of others, but today there are so many specialized systems around, and so this gets more and more complex, and we want to, at least for our portfolio here, simplify that part also with Business Data Cloud. So how are we doing this, and what's behind Business Data Cloud? So if we look at our portfolio, some of you might have seen this sunrise graphic, which is an overview of the overall SAP portfolio. You see Business Data Cloud very central on the bottom, just above the Business Technology Platform, which is the technology platform for all the SAP applications, and right underneath the applications. So it's really that middle piece between the applications, the technology piece, and of course the surrounding AI components, which we introduced, right? So the Joule and the agents, those things. So that's where Business Data Cloud is placed, and so it really plays this central role in the SAP portfolio. If we look at Business Data Cloud a little closer, what's in there? So we're building out the whole business data fabric journey, which we started with DataSphere a couple of years ago, right? And one fundamental change or addition we have in there is that also the data products as a technical, but also as a semantical vehicle for data and its description, its semantics, its context, right, plays a really central role. And that is based, those data products are based on harmonized data models, which we provide out of the box. And what these data products are in detail, I have a full set of slides in just a few minutes. But to explain the concept here, so the core part are applications forming that business data fabric in the middle. The data and the metadata and the context of the data are provided via data products. And on top, you find applications which build on top of these, right? So these could be SAP delivered applications. These could be planning applications. These could be partner applications, right? Or even custom built applications. So this is the high level concept. If we look into this middle layer a little closer, you will find some of the existing components we already have sometimes for many years, like SAP Analytics Cloud. They just had their 10th anniversary a couple of months ago. DataSphere also more than 5 years in the market right now. And Business Warehouse, we have many BW customers out there. So this is a place where you can also take your BW into the whole context of Business Data Cloud and go on this modernization journey with your BW. So it's really an evolution of our business data fabric, the journey, as I mentioned, which we started with DataSphere and SAP Analytics Cloud a couple of years ago. With the whole concept on data products and the harmonized data model, we really go that next step in our data and analytics strategy. So the data products concept is not new to SAP. We also introduced that with even with Data Warehouse Cloud. I think 4 years ago, we introduced what we called the data marketplace back in the day. And the vehicle there was also data products, right? So we're expanding this now, this concept, and making it available not just for DataSphere as a solution, as a software product, but to the whole business data fabric and the whole SAP applications.
Klaus-Peter, 1 second, please. Here's Larissa. We received a feedback that the screen shows only portion of the slide. So it seems that it's not 100% visible.
Okay, I mean, I can start resharing. Maybe that solves the problem. Let's try that. So let me stop sharing.
And probably go into full view. Maybe there will be some.
I'm in full screen mode. So
okay.
there's no other way here.
Try again, and then sorry for short interruption, but
yeah, all good. It's technology, and sometimes it doesn't do what we want him to do.
Just to confirm, the bottom line of your slide says SAP apps, and there is this different signs. Is it correct, or do you have anything?
Let me just put the laser pointer. So this is the bottom part.
Excellent.
Right? So there is a number here as well on the corner. So
exactly.
It was building up. So maybe that was really confusing a little bit because I built it animated, right? So in a way that I can talk to different pieces without distraction, right? Okay.
Thank you very much.
So I get a lot of thumbs up. So I guess it's now working. And if not, let us know and we will find a solution.
Exactly. We'll continue right now. For those who have just raised hands, please keep your raised hands until the end of the session, because we would like to give the time to Klaus-Peter for his presentation flow. So please make sure that you keep your hand raised so we can call your question at the end of the session. Thank you very much. And back to Klaus-Peter.
Okay, thank you so much, Larissa. And yeah, on top, what I mentioned on the previous slide come these applications, right? So different variations, what can be done here. We will definitely deliver out-of-the-box applications managed by SAP here. And what we have there and how that concept works, also I have a little more details on that. What is overall important with the February announcement, which we made with Business Data Cloud in the context of the business suite and the whole AI movement, which we are taking on, this was a controlled availability back in Q1. And I can say just yesterday, this officially came available on the price list. So 5th of May was the day when we can officially announce here general availability of Business Data Cloud. So it's now fully available like all other applications we offer from SAP, also including the Databricks part, what you see here, which was the last few months in the controlled availability phase, not ready yet. There were some final things Databricks had to do, and so we can now also offer this as a full packaged solution, right? Very important side note here. So let's look into these data products and inside applications, what they really are, what's the concept behind it, and where we're going with this whole new concept as part of Business Data Cloud. So in general, the way we're thinking about data products is that these are entities which can connect all of your data. So you see this example here in the middle where there are some data products from the finance area, right? So this is just a sample list. This is not an exhaustive list. We will have a lot more. But for example, take here the general ledger data, which you then combine with supply chain data coming from inventory, with HR data from success factors on the workforce side. And you might want to bring in also external data, like mentioned here with inflation data, interest rates, etc., to bring this together into one analytical application, right, which can then be used also for planning purposes, AI, etc. And what you already see here is that it's not just limited to SAP provided data, but also that we think about bringing in external data here, right, with the third party bucket on the bottom right, on the middle part here. So this is really an open concept where we will be able to provide partners also to provide their solutions and expertise, right? So that we end up in a kind of data product economy, right? Which is not just fed by SAP driven and managed data products, but also these third-party data products by whoever wants to create these. Could be custom specific, that it's only a data product built from a customer for himself for certain scenarios, or could be partner built solutions, etc. So what are these data products? And they have a quite well-defined scope. On the one hand side, it's the data itself, so it could be master data, transactional data for analytical purposes, or whatever the data itself might be. So it's the data set itself. It's the semantics of the data of the data set, right? Meaning the rich metadata which we usually have in our applications like S4HANA, or which you build up in other systems like BW or DataSphere, or wherever the source of the data might come from. So the description, including these semantics, which define then that a certain number field has a currency, and that you can apply stuff like currency conversion and these kind of semantical transformations to your data right out of the box, right? So that description, so it's data, metadata, but it also has to be consumable. So it includes, on the one hand side, it's delivered as a software as a service component, meaning you bring your systems into Business Data Cloud, for example, your S4 system, you connect your DataSphere, your SAC system, for example, and then you want to activate one or multiple of these data products. And what happens then in the backend is that automatically not only the models itself, so the metadata will be deployed, but also the data will be triggered. So the data Transfer will be stored then in an object store, and we fully manage and integrate that data for you. So the whole data engineering part basically is out of the box there to be ready to be consumed. Consumable also means there's an API, and we will see that later on what this API is about. And the fourth point, also very important, if you have a set of data products, right, you need to be able to find them. That's why we provide a catalog. It's not a brand new catalog, it's a catalog solution that is in for many years now, which is also part of DataSphere, also now here with Business Data Cloud. So the discoverability of these data products is also very essential. Looking at it from another angle here, so the semantically aligned data products, as I mentioned on the introduction slide, they are based on a harmonized data model spanning all of the SAP applications, right? And which will be fully extendable also to non-SAP data, which you might want to bring in to mix up and extend your data to create new insights. And okay, let me get closer to the mic, maybe.
Yes,
devices.
exactly. So, we received feedback that your voice is diminishing, so maybe you can repeat the current slide. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, sure, no problem. So what I was saying here is that these data products, they are based on a harmonized data model. So the semantics is aligned across all applications, all SAP applications, and it's also extensible, right? So that you can bring in your own data products, your custom built data products based maybe on non-SAP data, and combine that together to create new insights. The catalog, as I mentioned, is a very central place. That's where the data products will be available from these applications based on what you activated, right? And they will automatically appear then in the catalog in this unit via the unified customer landscape. And what's also important is that we have a metadata standardization behind the scenes. So each data product, each of these SAP managed data products come with an open resource discovery protocol, right? So that is a standardized protocol, an open source protocol, which we're using here to describe the rich metadata, which are, of course, attached to a data product and part of the overall solution there. And yeah, the APIs I mentioned before, we're using here the delta sharing protocol, so zero copy delta share, as a protocol, as an API to access data. So where we can access data then from the various applications that they are stored once and can be reused for multiple use cases. So that really is an underlying principle which we have here for this software as a service like delivery of the data products. So how are these data products coming together? So on the one hand side, we have the SAP managed data products, meaning we as a software vendor define and provide data products based on the different applications which we have, like S/4HANA. And of course, we start in the finance area because that's usually the most common asked for area, but also logistics, sales, warehouse management, and the other areas of S4, right? Success factors will follow right after Sapphire now with HR-based data products like around employees and these kind of entities, Ariba for the whole procurement part, Concur and others. So we have a full roadmap where we will deliver many data products and inside applications this year. And what we're doing behind the scenes, I mentioned it already briefly, is we're preparing the data already for the use via this zero copy delta share protocol for the different applications you might want to use it with, right? The pre-delivered inside apps, AI scenarios, analytics, or maybe others. So we're preparing the data for you if it's part of your formation. So that's why we use the term SAP managed here and out of the box, because if you start triggering the activation, then also the data movement, the data integration and transformation, which directly runs in the backend. And I show you later step by step what's happening in the backend here. In the same way, you can also build custom managed data products. Meaning you have, for example, older ECC systems which are not integrated in your Business Data Cloud setup, or S/4HANA systems for whatever reason which you don't want to have as part of the Business Data Cloud setup, BW, W4 systems which you might want to keep out of Business Data Cloud, or third-party source systems which you might want to connect. For all of these, we provide a way to create custom managed data products so that you can take care of the data integration transformation, building the data products on your own, with your own definitions, with your own setup and maintenance of the data products, and then use the same mechanisms which we're using for the SAP managed ones. Also, leveraging zero copy delta share, being able to store that on the object store and make it available for the applications on the right-hand side. So I talked quite a bit about these data products, but now let's move to the next layer and the next new piece here, the inside apps. So these inside applications, there will be inside applications across the board, right? So you see here different buckets I've built out here, for example, on core enterprise analytics, supply chain, spend, finance, people analytics, etc. And you see again here the area for partners, which can come in and provide their own inside applications. So the inside applications are really the core part of that SaaS component, so that software as a service component, which is delivered by Business Data Cloud. So they are exposing the insights to the consumption side, so to dashboards in SAP Analytics Cloud, for example. And so those are the core pieces which group all the different data products for this area of insight together. So if you look a little closer, what's within these inside apps? So you find here on the bottom, of course, the connectivity to the source systems, right? Then everything comes together as part of data products. A very central role plays for these analytical insight applications, the analytic models as part of DataSphere. And then on top, you see the inside app, which is basically the part which is visible to the end consumer of these inside applications, right? So these really represent here broader insights in the context of this particular inside app. So if you're looking at the beginning, what we deliver with the start of Business Data Cloud, those are more or less low-code or no-code analytical applications. So analytical dashboards, for example, working capital management is one. We work on workforce planning at the moment and other areas for these inside applications. There will also be search-driven applications which come more from an angle of artificial intelligence like AI or Joule, where you have a conversational connection with the app. But we're also thinking of, this is not exclusive, is that we in the next step also want to provide the capability not just for analytical applications or search-driven applications, but also for what we currently call pro-code applications, right? Applications which are custom built, maybe using SAP Build or Steampunk on BTP and these kind of solutions, which follow maybe the CAP model, the CAP programming model, and which could be also the vehicle for app-to-app exchange of data, right? So that these data products do not serve only AI and analytical purposes, but also being used in these transactional applications, if you like. So if we're looking at one of the first applications and inside apps we delivered already now is the working capital application. As I said, there will be multiple more coming very soon. Expect something around Sapphire for sure, which is only in 2 weeks. So this inside app for working capital, right? So it's a number of dashboards, which once the data products are activated and the inside app is completely installed and the data is loaded, directly work out of the box. So you don't have to do any manual work here. We will provide that out of the box for you. And of course, you can adjust it if you need that, if you have additional KPIs you want to bring in. And I'll show you in a minute how that is working, how you can bring in your customizations on that end. A new component on Business Data Cloud is, of course, the cockpit. So that's a central piece where the administrators configure, initially provision the system via SAP4Me, and then the different components of BDC are onboarded. Like, for example, you can onboard your DataSphere or your SAP Analytics Cloud system, your S4HANA system, and then depending on the inside app, you can activate certain inside apps and they have prerequisites. For example, if it's an inside app on finance data, of course, you need to have your S4 system with the finance data connected and built in as part of the systems formation in Business Data Cloud. Then you can start installing the inside apps or activate individual data packages here and use this cockpit really as a central place to configure the system itself, but also the inside apps and the data products here on that end. But now I talked a lot in theory about it. Let's have a deeper look how these are really installed and what's happening behind the scenes on the activation of such a data product. So first, if you start activating a data product, you identified it in the catalog and you want to use it, right? So this pre-configured setup based on the unified customer landscape leverages really the source connection. In this case here, the source connection to your S4HANA PCE system, which is part of the overall Business Data Cloud setup, right? And then for each data product in the package, the cockpit requests the installation, which means the definition of the data product is being placed in this foundational service piece, right? And after the metadata is there, the whole data acquisition transformation processes are starting to run. And once that's finished, you will see a green light in the cockpit, means that the data product is now fully available and can be used via the Delta Share protocol. And so this is if you want to activate individual data packages on their own. The whole thing gets a little more complex, but only behind the scenes if you want to install a full inside app, which then includes a little bit more than just the data product. It, of course, has data products in there, so you install the inside app, and so that bottom part is really exactly the same. The data products as part of that inside app are being installed, right? And then the whole exposure into the catalog here for DataSphere will happen, that you can find it there. It's automatically deploying the models in DataSphere, which are part of that data product and part of that inside application. So all the views, the analytic models, which are part of that package, are being deployed. And once that's done and the data is loaded into the object store, all the stories and dashboards on top of it are able to consume that data, right? So then you're already starting to leverage your own data, which is loaded in the backend into the object store, and use it via this simple path. So now what happens if you want to adjust something? And adjusting currently means you copy and adjust the copy of the model, because the pre-delivered content is currently not adjustable. We're working on an extensibility concept so that you can avoid a copy and keep that pre-delivered set of artifacts intact while you're extending the different layers which you need. Currently, a copy is required, and then you can adjust, of course, the views, the analytic models, the story, and everything what you need for your customized reports and models. Okay, so looking at Databricks and specifically SAP Databricks, I guess many of you know Databricks as a vendor in this area out there. And what we provide as part of Business Data Cloud is the option that you can also get Databricks via Business Data Cloud. So that is then called SAP Databricks. And we're delivering all the AI and ML capabilities as part of it, which you can use then together with the data products which we deliver. Can create your own data products in Databricks, and we share that with Business Data Cloud, build it into your models and create analytics on top. We're leveraging the unified data with zero copy delta share. So that's one of the key sharing principles also here with Databricks, right? And of course, you can use Databricks to develop your pro code notebooks, your data science projects, etc., and have the data there in addition to what we deliver from the SAP managed data products and your additional custom built data products. So how is that looking on a high level architecture? So what you see here in the middle is basically the catalog. And the catalog, I always call it a little bit the glue, which brings together all these different parts, right? So the catalog is the place where the data products can be discovered. The same is true for the artifacts coming from DataSphere, your custom built models, your custom built data products. And the same is true for everything which you built on the data product side with Databricks, because both catalogs, the Unity catalog on the Databricks side and the catalog of Business Data Cloud, they are connected and they can exchange that kind of information. And so that overall helps you really reducing the whole process on collecting, govern, transform, and sharing via these data products. And we're leveraging the same mechanisms here as well for Databricks as for our own data products. So you see the same graphic, but the zero copy delta share API can then be used by SAP Databricks as well for all the different things you might want to do there with experimentation, data science projects, machine learning operations, orchestration, whatever you have in mind using Databricks for these data products, which we pre-deliver from SAP, as well as your custom managed data products follow that same methodology, if you like. So if we're looking now into the scenario, what I showed you earlier with installing data products and making it available in the catalog, right? This also, of course, is seamlessly integrated with whatever you do on the SAP Databricks side. It looks a little more complex because we get an additional box here on top, the SAP Databricks with its Unity catalog. What will happen if you have a data product here, you can share it via the catalog with the Unity catalog in Databricks. That makes it available for your Jupyter notebooks where you might want to run different exercises on the data. Very often in these projects, you create new data sets, which then can be shared back, right? So this newly created, what we call here machine learning data set, right, can be shared back into the catalog of DataSphere, and then you can take it from there and add it to your custom data product, to your views, to your analytic models, and create analytics on top of it. So this is more or less a closed loop scenario which we offer here. You don't have to use it in exactly this way, but this is what we see as one of the common use cases which a lot of the customers have. All right, so looking at the time, I think we are quite good in time. Should be enough time at the end for Q&A. Looking at our BW customers, I get this question quite often: what role plays BW as part of the Business Data Cloud overall setup? And what we try to illustrate here with this slide is that you can bring your BW on-premise, doesn't matter if it's on any DB or already a HANA-based system, into the setup of Business Data Cloud via a private cloud setup, right? So you can lift and shift basically your BW system as part of Business Data Cloud. And then once it's there as part of the BDC setup, you can use that very same data product concept and methodology to create data products out of your BW data and data models, which you have built in there. So we provide a component which is called Data Product Generator, and that generator allows you to create your own custom-built data products based on your BW models and info providers you have in there, and use it in the same way like you use SAP Databricks data products, your custom-built data products, or the SAP managed ones. So they all live in the underlying object store and can be used with DataSphere and additional models like everything else. So that's really a way forward how you can bring your BW system into this next generation setup with Business Data Cloud. Another question I get quite often these days is, I'm already using DataSphere. What's happening there? How can I reuse what I've built the last couple of years in DataSphere? And I think the important message here, if you're already using DataSphere, you're already on the right track. Because what you saw also in the more detailed slides around the data product installation and everything is DataSphere is really one of the core pieces of Business Data Cloud. And it will only gain more importance really as part of Business Data Cloud over time. So what you currently have is what we would now call standalone tenants of DataSphere. And it's the same software stack, so it's not a different solution what we use as part of Business Data Cloud and DataSphere as standalone systems. So both systems alike benefit from the quite strong roadmap which we have for DataSphere. And what's also important to understand, I mentioned at the beginning already, DataSphere is also the place where we, even today, without Business Data Cloud, can create data products, right? And we will enhance that concept in DataSphere seamlessly, that works with the same way with the data products as part of Business Data Cloud. So you're already on the right track. And whenever you're ready, and that can be when your contract renewal is out there or even earlier, you could adopt also Business Data Cloud. That requires two things. On the one hand side, it's a commercial part. On the second part, it's technical, what we call a rewiring capability, which will be offered very likely in Q3 this year. So that means that you can take your existing DataSphere tenant and rewire it technically to Business Data Cloud, that it's part of the overall Business Data Cloud setup, right? It requires, of course, that the data center you're currently running your DataSphere tenant on is also ready for Business Data Cloud. The data centers have a phased rollout where we start with AWS at the beginning now. We will follow up with Google, so Google Cloud Services, and then later in the year also Microsoft Azure data centers, and the data centers within those three hyperscalers will also grow over time. So that's a prerequisite. But once that's there, the rewiring service is there in Q3, then you can seamlessly bring your existing DataSphere tenant also into the mix with Business Data Cloud. Right. And of course, then leverage the SAP managed data product and the whole integration into the AI technology pieces, which we will provide as part of Business Data Cloud. All right. Let's have a brief outlook forward, what we're planning this year and even beyond that. And that's definitely one of the core focus points is building out data products and inside apps here in the different areas. So I could have listed all of them, but then the font size would have been really small because all the line of business solutions are currently building or finalizing or already have built data products and inside applications on the different areas. These components which you see are like finance, logistics, employee central from HCM, commerce from CX, Ariba, Fieldglass, etc. These are already underway. So there's probably not too much time left in order to have them public. And so those will be available and discoverable via the Business API Hub very soon. And what we're also planning as part of the overall application and data products delivery is we are building a data product studio, which will be the central place in the future for everyone building out data products. Today, this is partially in DataSphere already. The SAP managed data products are behind the scenes built slightly differently. And with that data product studio, we also want to provide a single editor where also partners can then build their data products on their own. But that will take another few months to have that ready there. But that's really one of the core pieces as part of our roadmap. Then, of course, we want to bring a lot of enhancements in the cockpit, which is also a brand new component, right? The unified catalog, the rewiring service for DataSphere tenants, what I was talking about, the data center rollout I mentioned already. On the partnership side, right? Databricks as part of Business Data Cloud was just delivered end of last week, so that's already there. So I need to update my roadmap slide here and have a look at the Sapphire announcement. There might be one or the other additional partnership announcement we might have for you. BW modernization, I talked about this data product generator piece, which will be delivered very likely now in Q2 already. We will enhance the semantic onboarding capability here also towards BW 7.5 objects. This is currently available for BW 4HANA customers only. So there's a big enhancement going on. And of course, the whole AI and Gen AI area where we bring a lot of additional features around Joule, SAP knowledge graphs, the AI agents. And so there's a fully packed roadmap we have. And if you're looking, and this is my last slide here for information, I specifically put the QR codes there because then you can take a screenshot and directly jump to those pages. If it's the learning journey, which will get a certification also starting after Sapphire in a couple of weeks. There's an ebook available, a product tour if you want to get a first glimpse of how everything looks and feels and works. The community and the online documentation for sure, like all other products. All right, and that's it from my side. So I think we have a couple of minutes left for Q&A.
Yeah, thank you, Klaus, for that session. So let's just jump to the Q&A part. Does the data from sources get moved or stored in data products? You said object store, or does it only get referenced to the source data via Delta Share Protocol? What is the place where all the data from sources is stored in a data product?
Okay, let me just find that.
I think it's in the chat.
Okay. Yeah. I was just scrolling down to find it. It's from Ankit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the data comes from the source, is moved into the central object store, and that's where it's shared via delta sharing capability, right? So from there, the idea is to reuse this data product and its data via delta share protocol, so that you don't have to copy it again and again and again for the various use cases you might have.
Okay.
So then I see conversion from BW to BW on HANA. Yeah, so as part of the private cloud, BW setup, this is a HANA-based BW system, right? So that automatically requires the conversion. But as far as I understand it, I would have to double check with my services colleagues, but you can do that transformation as part of the lifting and shifting into the private cloud edition. And I don't think it is a separate step beforehand, but that would be good to double check that because I'm not 100% sure. Then content related questions. When are there dedicated associated certifications? Okay, yeah. So DataSphere certification is being worked on. I'm not sure on the exact timeline, but what I mentioned just a minute ago is that for Business Data Cloud, there will be a certification available after Sapphire. So as far as I know, it will be announced at Sapphire, and then it will be available even after Sapphire to get certified on Business Data Cloud. I'm not sure if it's called Associate or if it has a different title, but there's definitely a certification already on its last mile. Let's put it like that. Okay. Will DBC replace all functions of SAP BW? Do you know SAP have one strategy for migrate all business models into BDC? Yeah. So I guess the first one is a typo. It's probably BDC instead of DBC. It's not replacing a functionality. You can bring in your BW with all its functionalities into the overall Business Data Cloud setup, right? So that is the way this is being set up. So you don't have to move stuff around and recreate things you already built in BW. You can bring in your BW system, your BW 7.5 system, for example, or in case you have a BW 4 HANA system, same thing there. You can bring that in and reuse the models directly out of the box, right? What you're having there. So you migrate basically the full stack, the full BW, and not individual solutions. Okay. Then the next one is also on BW 7.5 Oracle with data from both for S4HANA systems. Long question.
Probably it makes sense also to read up the question, or at least the essence of the question, because not
I'm trying to find it. Okay. So at the end, you ask about if it's risky or flawed approach with a phased migration approach, right? And that's always a feasible solution. Because what we also, with the whole BW modernization underway now, what we recommend to customers, if you want to change technology, and that would be making a move, for example, from BW to DataSphere or Business Data Cloud or part of it all, being able to bring your BW system into BDC as part of Business Data Cloud gets you, on the one hand side, at these additional 3 years, which you're mentioning here until 2030, but under standard maintenance, I think, which is an important information here. And the second thing is you can also from there on start gradually moving and modernizing your data models and your setup within BW using the data product vehicle. Because think about it, you can first start producing the data product from your BW-driven applications you have. Then you might want to move the models to DataSphere, let's say, for example, right, and produce that same, or the result of that data product then later on from DataSphere and decommission the part on your BW system, right? So that's maybe one of the options you get here, which is yeah, quite welcome from a lot of our customers, which we talk to. Then look into the next one. How are the partners reacting to bringing their own Insight app to the BDC platform? Are there any examples of partner Insight apps? Not yet, but I can say the reaction was really overwhelming. I think the majority we had was great feedback because they are excited to be able to leverage the concept of our SAP managed data products at maybe their additional partner built data products and put a partner built app, Insight app on top in areas where they have specific knowledge, right? Or in areas where there's a white space in the SAP portfolio sometimes, right? From a process perspective. And these are areas that our partners are quite excited about to be able to leverage that within Business Data Cloud. Next one, is it possible to search a data product based on a technical field name? Yeah, that's a good one. It will be available. So the description and what fields are in there and the whole associations of different artifacts, etc., on the Business API Hub once a data product is available. It's not there today, but very soon after Sapphire, we expect that to grow there, that whenever there are releases of data products and Insight applications, it will be discoverable there. If you know the Business API Hub, this is the place also today where, for example, can check out the ABAP CDS views and where all the fields and everything is described, right? So it's the same place. We just extend it with the new pieces coming from Business Data Cloud with the data products and Insight apps. And the last one I find here, my question is, will it be possible with rewiring to change hyperscalers from AWS to Azure? As far as I know, not at the beginning. Not sure if the colleagues are working on a hyperscaler transfer there as well. As far as I know, it's, if you're, let's say, on AWS and you're using the EU10 tenant or hyperscaler location, right, then you can transfer it from your EU10 as a standalone to EU10 as part of Business Data Cloud. That's the part which is currently being worked on. I can double check if they have this also in mind to be able to change the hyperscaler in that same kind of rewiring activity. All right.
Okay, I think we have also some question in the Q&A box.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Okay, what is Business Data Cloud in a sentence, right? So in a sentence is a software as a service solution, which is delivered by SAP. On the one hand side, continuing our path, which we delivered with the Business Data Fabric approach a couple of years ago, but also extending it with new capabilities with this whole data product, data insight concept, bringing in new or additional partner solutions like Databricks, and also extending it on our own portfolio, meaning that you are able now to bring in also your BW systems into the whole mix overall. So that would be my long one sentence. What are the industry-specific data models available? So we will be not providing industry-specific data models for analytics like you know it from other vendors. We will be providing data products based on specific application areas. And those might be industry driven, like for manufacturing, right? When you have your manufacturing components activated on your S4 system, then there will be manufacturing specific data products, but we will not deliver a data model like you might know it from other vendors, which are purely analytics based and where you have to harmonize and standardize your data on your own, right? So we will deliver that out of the box based on our unified data model. And as you mentioned, energy or utilities, there will be for sure data products and inside applications on utilities. We have the search question again. That was the identical one we had just recently. Question regarding data products. Can S4HANA on-prem systems and BW systems run within, right, or outside be linked to sub-managed data products? Yeah, good question here. So the S4 systems, which can be part of Business Data Cloud, they are private cloud RISE environments, right? So if you want to have your S4HANA system on-prem and keep it outside of Business Data Cloud, you will be able to provide custom-built data products, but not being able to leverage the SAP managed data products, simply for the reason the system is not part of the Business Data Cloud setup, and then we cannot get the data from within your firewall, from your on-premise system, out into the cloud-based object store, right? So that's just not possible. And so it has to be within a formation of a Business Data Cloud system that requires currently either S4HANA RISE private cloud environment, or very soon also a public cloud environment. And the same is true for BW, right? If it's part of BDC, yes, you can then provide data products out of there. If it's a separate system outside on your own premises or the different hosting location, right, then you cannot build data products out of them. And there's the certification question again. I think I covered that also. The cross hyperscaler, same question here. And I think, yeah, these are just duplicates, as it looks like.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah. All right. And we're on top of the hour anyway, so.
Yeah. Wow, that were a lot of questions. So thank you very much, Klaus-Peter, for that very insightful session. I think it rose very high interest. So let me just stop the recording now.